Whatever. We're gonna talk about Leak Hegseth. Leak Hegseth sets record straight on new group chat allegations. So as we all know, what the second group chat leak has hit the Pentagon. Uh, fuck everyone, evacuate the premises yet again. Second group chat leak has hit the Pentagon. Fuck. I mean, we went over some stuff taught like from Ken Klippenstein, and I think Ken Klippenstein has like a pretty good point when he raises up the potential alarm bells of like a potential like brass military brass coup within the fucking goddamn Pentagon, who wants to get rid of like someone who's as incompetent as Pete Hegseth, but like sort of like what the erosion of like civilian control of the military, even though like a bunch of like retired generals, and this has been a trend that's been set by Obama, having control of the position of Secretary of Defense. And I'm like trying to think to myself, because like the whole like idea of like experience within defense, like I can understand why it's probably more important to have like civilians. So because the point is for it to be accountable to, well, the broader constituency, right? The president, who is a civilian in of himself, can elect a civilian into the position of Secretary of Defense, but there's a whole congressional process for approval. So like because when I was talking about that, I more so was just like, I mean, we have to kind of blame Congress for the fact that someone as incompetent as Pete Hegseth was able to get into power, because they just voted for him along partisan lines, because that's what happened. That's how we got in. It was all partisan, like period, end of story. That's why you have like also idiots like fucking RFK Jr. as like HHS secretary or whatever, as chair of the HHS. And he's wholeheartedly just not qualified for the position. He's not a doctor. He's never studied medicine. He's just a crank who just yaps about random fucking shit. And like Tulsi Gabbard is what, head of the DNI, and she's a fucking Russian agent. Like, unironically, she's just a stooge. So it's like, it's all just like a shit show, meme fest, like hackatocracy type stuff. But I do kind of agree, like, if there was a coup by the military brass within the Pentagon that removes Pete Hegseth, that would be bad. I sort of make the argument that they're probably not going to do that, because they're like West Point fucking liberals, and they may have like moral quandaries about like, I don't know about this, because like, you know, like we kind of are supposed to serve the Constitution, but with like that's like been constantly being eroded away because of all these like former retired generals being put in the positions of power. Like, because I also commented, like, I was just like, I don't know how much this distinction will matter about like the Secretary of Defense just going along with what the military brass says anyways. But that, like, Ken Klippenstein proved that wrong, because like what, certain strikes that the military suggested to do on Iran were like disapproved by Pete Hegseth. So I'm just like, oh, that's surprising. I thought he would have just gone along with it and just been like, ah, fuck it, YOLO swag 420. But I guess he too has also like a potential image of the president that he's supposed to like uphold, which is the fact that the president is anti-war. He's not, obviously, but like, it's like an image that they're trying to sort of maintain. So like, I understand the concerns, but like, it's really difficult to sort of like talk about this, because like Pete Hegseth is a fucking idiot. He should not be there. I don't know like who would be the best to like most like qualified. Maybe like a military historian. Historians? I don't know if historians would be correct. Maybe like a guy who's like studied like sort of tactics, but has like had never been in the fucking military or something. Maybe, I'm not sure. Cause what, the brass did fire a bunch of Hegseth's fucking aides, right? Like they were the ones that were responsible for a bunch of Pete Hegseth's aides being let go very suddenly from the fucking Pentagon, instead of like going after Hegseth himself. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of a spooky time. But what do we got here? He sets the record straight. Oh boy, I'm sure I am ready to see like what fucking crap that fucking Pete Hegseth pulls out of his ass to try to be like, guys, it's okay that the second group chat leak happened. You know, it's not the end of the world. Let's see, what do we got here?
Why do you have confidence?
Because he's doing a great job. Right, Sheriff.
So yeah, this was like when the group chat leak happened, right? It was reported. So, you know.
Ask the Houthis how he's doing. Everybody's happy with it. We have the highest recruitment number.
I mean, didn't the White House and didn't this guy on Truth Social literally post a video of him just doing a fucking war crime, quite literally? A bunch of fucking Houthis, or we don't even know if they're Houthis. We know that they're Yemeni civilians. It was a village, right? They went out to fucking celebrate Eid, and then, like, they just got bombed. Like, Donald Trump was doing his best IDF impression. It's very, very, very crazy. Crazy how people think Trump is a fun guy to be around when he's, like this at an Easter party. It was weird, man. He's just a weird dude.
Numbers I think they've had in 28 years. No, he's doing a great job. It's just fake news.
Well, that was President Trump doubling down on his support for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth 24 hours ago, denying a New York Times report about sharing sensitive information on another signal chat called Team Huddle. Here to set the record straight himself, the current Secretary of State.
So what, we got Paul Gutfeld, right? This dumbass.
Pete Hegseth, former host right here on Fox and Friends. Pete,
hey,
great
Brian.
to see you, Mr. Secretary.
Great to see you.
So your thoughts on what's been reporting of Team Huddle and the Signal chat?
Oh, it's Brian Kilmeade.
The New York Times.
Oh yeah, it's not Guff. I'm an idiot. Whatever. All these people look the same. All evil.
So Brian, if you remember when this all started, the first go around, because this is the second go around, right? They peddle old stuff, they kick it back up. I said
they didn't kick it back up. It literally was found out that there was a second group chat. Like, what are you fucking talking about? All look the same. It's kind of racist. I am racist against white people. You can't stop me. This is critical racist theory. You call out all these like same looking fucking Cracker Barrel ass motherfuckers, okay?
Repeatedly, no one's texting war plans. You know why I said that? Because I'm in the bowels of the Pentagon every single day. Just 10 minutes ago, I was looking at actual war plans of things that were ongoing or pending things to happen. Because that's on a regular basis on classified systems. That's my job for the war fighters, for the President of the United States.
Okay, but the problem is that you're texting that stuff over an unapproved app. Signal is approved for texts and chats of non-classified information. But what did you do? You texted classified information because you did the same thing as before with your fucking brother and wife there for some fucking reason. Like, what are you talking about? That's true, Zane. You can't be racist against white people if they hold institutional power.
States. I look at war plans every single day. What was shared over Signal, then and now, however you characterize it, was informal, unclassified coordinations for media coordination.
That's just a fucking complete utter lie. We know from the first go around, he literally specified exact timings and weapon systems, even to the fucking bombs that were fucking used in the attacks against the Houthis. He's just lying. Same shit happened with the second group chat leak. Whoa. Come on, man.
And other things. That's what I've said from the beginning. At the beginning, it was left-wing reporters from The Atlantic who got a hold of it and then wanted to...
No. Fucking Goldberg was invited by Mike Waltz, who is one of Trump's national security advisors. He was invited into the Signal group chat. And he was, like I said before, when he was in there, he was totally fucking perplexed and surprised. He was just like, okay, this has to be like a fucking... He even said himself in the reports, like, this has to be a meme. There is no fucking way that they would be this loose with operational security. There is no fucking way. He was shocked that it happened, and he was just like, oh my god, they actually did it. And as you saw in the report, it's like, holy fuck, they actually did it. That is insane, dude.
Create a problem for the president. This is what it's all about. Trying to get at President Trump and his agenda. Now, here at the Defense Department, clear. We take the classification of information very important. It's very significant to us that we...
Cap. Stop the cap. Stop the fucking cap. That's cap, bro. Really? Then why did you fucking let the fucking first group chat leak happen to begin with? Why take the risk? Again, we all know why. Because the messages were set to delete themselves after about 4 weeks. I don't know why the fuck they did it for that long, but okay. Because they want to make sure that those records don't go into the congressional record, right? They want to fucking break the law. They're trying to do shit in secret. And like I've explained before, if they're willing to do this so blatantly on a commercially available app on their own unsecured personal phones, which are more than likely bugged to shit remotely, because, you know, packet sniffers and shit like that. It's easy to do. If you know what you're fucking looking for, you know how to sniff packets, you can find the contents of those messages and crack the fucking hash codes pretty fucking easily. You can do that. Then stuff gets leaked to, whoa, hostile powers who may be interested in leaking some of that information to proxies and being like, hey, look what the US is gonna do. What if you just, like, cause a complete fucking embarrassment for them or some shit? So, they could just do that, you know? They could. That's within their power. That's why it's important to do it in a fucking skiff. On a fucking non-bugged approved phone. Over approved applications for these kinds of communications. Because guess what? A big part of war. Knowledge. And it is power. Crazy. Wait till I find the Xbox group chat. Yeah, real.
Safeguard it. And so when we had leaks, which we have had here, we did a serious leak investigation. And through that leak investigation, unfortunately, we found some folks that we believe were not holding to the protocols that we hold dear here at the Defense Department.
Wait, Mike Waltz is still a part of Trump's cabinet. As far as I know, he hasn't been fired. Some of your aides have been fired. Like, yeah, found some folks like yourself. It's so fucking strange and confusing that, like, what? His aides got fired, right? Does that mean he had a part to play in his aides getting fired when the military brass was just like, you have to do something about this? Well, what? Pete Hegseth had a part to play in that? Okay, bro.
Through that investigation, they have been moved on, and that investigation continues. As a result of that, everything we do here is above board, trying to make sure that we safeguard information. In this point,
Stop the cap. He's capping. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. Stop the cap, bro. Nah. Yeah, very above board. Using a non-approved, commercially available app to text fucking classified information. But okay, bro.
Those folks who were leaking, who have been pushed out of the building, are now attempting to leak and sabotage the president's agenda and what we're doing. And that's unfortunate. It's not what I do. It's not how we operate. And so you've got another allegation being pushed again, not based on how we're operating around here. We're for the warfighters. We're for the president. Sure,
man.
None of this is based in reality.
So,
okay, so then why did the fucking reporting happen? Like, if it's all just fake news, it's all fake news because they hate Donald Trump. Grr. You know, it's the same old tired fucking excuse. Everything that's negative against the president for, you know, my fucking incompetence because, you know, I'm a complete fucking drunkard who can't even manage a $15K fucking budget has just been put in responsibility of the biggest, most powerful institution on the planet, and I'm completely failing at that. But, you know, I'm still here because all for Donald Trump. Like, again, he always has to suck off the dick. Because he always has to give the fucking good gluck because he knows that's the only reason why he's there. All about the good suck. Those who aren't leaking are gonna leak more. It wouldn't have gotten leaked if it was on an approved app. Yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head, Zane. You know, it perhaps just maybe, you know, if like protocol was followed. No one would have been upset about the fact that, like, hey, a leak happened, and they wouldn't have been resentful. Crazy.
Well, Mr. Secretary, I guess I can conclude this. We know some bizarre situation with Michael Waltz happened with the first time the whole thing with the Signal app
Bizarre
came out.
situation.
You believe this came out? They said it was called Team Huddle because one of the people who work for you, one of the three who no longer are there, leaked this out as a way to get back at you?
That's right, Brian. When you dismiss people who you believe are leaking classified information, and again, the investigation is ongoing and that will take time.
So was it Hegseth that let go of a bunch of his aides and not the military brass? Or was it like the military brass suggested to Pete Hegseth, like, let go of these guys to make it look like you're doing something and you're being competent or whatever? When in reality, it's like, at this point in time, it was Hegseth who was the one who he's now the leaker instead. Originally, it was Mike Waltz, right? Because he was the one who invited the fucking editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, Goldberg, in. I forget his first name. Doesn't matter, whatever. Goldberg was invited in by Mike Waltz. He was the one who did the leak, obviously. So, now this, was it Hegseth the one who did the leak? One of the aides who did the leak? Who did the leak this time? That's a little weird.
And when the evidence produced it will go to DOJ, why would it surprise anybody, Brian, if those very same people keep leaking to the very same reporters?
They essentially said we are incompetent, and because of our incompetence, she got leaked, so it's their fault. Well, yeah, because again, none of these people can take responsibility for anything. Like, it doesn't matter. And they always speak out of both sides of their mouth. This is the classic, it's the classic fascist playbook every single time. Speak out of both sides of your mouth and shit every single time. It doesn't matter.
Whatever information they think they can have to try to sabotage the agenda of the president or the secretary. So once a leaker, always a leaker, often a leaker. And so we looked for leakers because we take it very seriously. And we will do the investigation. Right. And if those people are exonerated, fantastic. Sure, we don't think, based on what we understand, that it's going to be a good day for a number of those individuals because of what was found in the investigation. So if they want to keep leaking and pushing it,
I wonder what they mean by that, you know? It's not going to be a very good day for you. It's like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Things that try to sabotage the president's agenda, that's unfortunate. But that's how leaking works in this town. We're focused on recruiting, on rooting out DEI, on securing our southwest border. On the DEI! Very well at the Pentagon, and I'm proud of it.
Right.
Once a leaker, always leaker, bro. You got bad pull-out game. That's real.
So the Signal app is what everyone uses. We're all finding that out now because of the Chinese have infected and sabotaged, gotten involved in almost every other communications apparatus over the last 4 years. So that's where you're communicating. You say it took place, but there was no classified material in it. Over the last few days, your senior advisor, Dan Caldwell,
which is a lie, but
Selnick,
whatever.
Colin Carroll, who was Chief of Staff, Deputy Secretary of Defense. The other one, Darren, is...
We are scared of leakers. Hear me out. Do your job right. True. You know, if you were competent with your job, then maybe you wouldn't be afraid of the leakers. I don't know. Maybe you wouldn't because, I mean, the same shit happened all the time during the first Trump administration, right? There was constant leaks all the fucking time because everyone was just like, these people are, like, impossible to fucking work with. Like, fuck these people.
Now, former Deputy Chief of Staff will let go. Did you let them go?
Right. It was a result of an investigation ongoing at the Pentagon where we
He's not going to answer that question.
Sufficient evidence, potentially. Again, there's an investigation ongoing that will have to complete itself. Sufficient evidence to believe that they or others near them were party to leaking. And then I have a statutory responsibility.
It's like being scared of hackers and you're over there downloading more RAM. That's funny. That's actually such a good comparison. Guys, you should go to downloadmoreram.com and download more RAM.
Responsibility, Brian. If I believe that's the case, to ultimately ensure they no longer have access to that and that the investigation commences. There are a lot of ways to communicate in this building. I do it every day. I was just doing it this morning. Official channels by which we communicate classified information. If you want to do it and do it the right way, you should. If we think you are leaking to the press, that's a very real problem. We take that very seriously at the Pentagon. I'm here to do one job.
One job for the
president and the American people. Secure the country. America first. Peace through strength. I don't have time for leakers. I don't have...
I find it hilarious that he's saying that, but, like, you know, he was having, like, a complete fucking meltdown with, like, J.D. Vance saying, like, God, I hate the fact that we're helping the Europeans out with their own problems with Yemen because we hardly have any shipping going through the Gulf of Aden. Yeah. you know, but like peace through strength, yada yada, you know, gotta keep up the fucking facade, nothing matters. You know, we've been through this before.
Time for the hoax press that peddles old stories from disgruntled employees. We should be talking about the decimation of the Houthis, how we're pushing back the Chinese, how we have a new defense area at the southern...
Yeah, totally pushing back the Chinese. The fuck does that even mean? What, you're at war with China? From what I remember, like, Trump has been constantly trying to get his old man Yowie call with fucking Xi Jinping. Top Xi. The Chinese century of prosperity is now here. Long live China, I guess, for, you know, lack of a fucking better term. And, like, he's been getting, like, nothing out of China from this. And they're just like, okay, we're just gonna, like, fill in the gaps with, like, other people that you've been alienating with your dumb fuck tariffs. So, whatever. We don't really need the U.S.
southern border. Instead, disgruntled former employees are peddling things to try to save their ass.
Did you?
And ultimately, that's it's not going to work.
Mr. Secretary, did you find this out, or did they come to you? Because I know
that's true.
You know these guys. Like these
Trump used to love
these
China.
are the guys you picked, especially Caldwell, and they worked for you for your previous job before you got over to Fox. And they said that they have not been asked to their phones. They weren't asked about communications. They didn't go through. They didn't take a polygraph. So why would they?
I don't believe that for even a fucking second. Dude, like, if you're, like, working in, what, cybersecurity for IT, they'll ask about your fucking phone. I don't fucking cap. I don't believe that for even one fucking second, that they didn't ask anything about the phones. Nah, I don't believe that for 1 second. No fucking shot, dude. Yeah, hearing that, and I work in IT, if you're going into the office, they're gonna ask about your phones. They will. You work for the government, for example. This is in Canada. They give you a phone. They will. I know. God knows how many people who work for the Canadian government, because, you know, a lot of in my fucking department, especially in my program, I think like 80% of the people in my graduating class are now all working for the government. Like, it's like 60 to 80% of them. You know what they did? They go in for all the approval processes and everything, and they give you equipment. Why? Because they don't want that shit to get fucking hacked. Obviously. Like, what are you, crazy? Duh. It's ludicrous. Like, my buddy has, like, what? My old roommate, rather. Not my buddy, but my old roommate, who is my buddy, but whatever. He has, like, a government phone, and, like, because he works hybrid, you know, because, he could do, like, most of the fucking, like, work he does from home, because, you know, he got his job during COVID, obviously. You know what I mean? Whatever. He does, like, cloud stuff. Stuff with the cloud. He works on, like, a bunch of different, like, scripts, mostly. That's what he mostly does. From broadly speaking, what I understand. Just scripting, cloud work, yada, yada, yada. And he's got a phone from the government, and he's got a computer from the government, because they know that the device is secure. That's why they give it to them. Because, you know, shit can fucking happen. Stuff can leak. Especially if you're working on a sensitive system, like, you know, cloud stuff, you know, where, like, a lot of information and shit gets stored on the servers. You get access to the cloud. You get access to a lot of different, potentially interesting information in the government servers. So, yeah. You want to make sure that stuff is rather tight-lipped. And that's true, Zane. Yeah, Europe is enforcing beater phones for any government entity going into America. Do you know how fucking bad that is, dude? Like, beater phones. Like, one-time fucking pieces of fucking, like, Nokia dog shit that they just throw away right after because they don't trust the U.S. because they think it's compromised.
They'd be let go and not be investigated.
Well, Brian, when there were a series of serious leaks at the Pentagon, which there were, Panama Canal plans, Elon Musk's visit, you name it, any number of things, and there's 4, 5, 6, 7 things. We said enough is enough. We're gonna launch a leak investigation, which we did, which was then handed over to OSI, which is the special investigators here at DOD. Right. Through that investigation, information was surfaced, which created a responsibility to take action. That's how it works when you when you actually investigate leaks, Brian. So it's easy to say, oh, we asked everybody and everybody said they're good. Or you can take it seriously and say, we don't think leaks are okay at this department, so we're going to investigate. And when we investigate, we'll take it anywhere it leads. And unfortunately, Brian, to your point, and again, if one or two of these guys is exonerated after an investigation, great. That's what investigations are for. But we took it seriously.
True,
it led to some unfortunate places. People I have known
we will
for
investigate
quite some
ourselves.
time, but it's not my job to protect them. It's my job to protect national security, the President of the United States, and let the investigation go where it is. So when that evidence is gathered sufficiently, and this has all happened very quickly, it will be handed over to DOJ.
Who wants to make a bet? Okay, who wants to make a bet? I mean, like, the people at OSI, I don't think those people are not appointed by the administration, right? I don't think so. The Special Investigative Unit within the DoD. Those people are probably like sort of like a separate, probably a complete separate entity that are probably like intelligence people or whatever from, like, I don't know, whether it be the CIA or the FBI or whatever, who cares. More than likely, those guys are probably not at the whims of Pete Hegseth and, like, the Trump administration, broadly speaking. The question then becomes, like, oh, are you actually going to take what they find seriously? Like, are you? Especially, like, are you going to be honest with what was said? That's another question, because, I mean, eventually that's going to be sent to DOJ, and we know that, like, head of the DOJ, like, Pam Bondi is a complete fucking charlatan freak. She's going to do anything possible to, well, cover Trump's ass, so. And yeah, take it seriously. Oh, like, when you use an unsecured app? That's true. Worse, it wasn't only just an unsecured app, Zane. It is a secured app. There is, like, encryption on Signal, but the problem is that they did it on an unsecured device in public, which means any motherfucker can probably break the fucking encryptions. Like, they were just relying on the encryption that Signal only had, and not the extra encryption of being in a SCIF, which is basically like a secure area to do communications in. And like bug-free fucking phones. It's like, in terms of like operational security, it's as bad as it gets.
And those people will be prosecuted if necessary. The leakers know who they are, and we know over time the truth will be told, and we stand firm behind that. Leaking is not okay in national security policy, and
sure,
we
man.
stand behind that every day of the week.
It looks like Carolyn Selnick contends
but it's done
for wrongful
2 leaks, but
termination.
okay, whatever.
And again, they didn't ask to take a polygraph test. Do you know Joe Casper? Is he still your chief of staff? Is he leaving?
I mean, aren't like fucking polygraph tests like complete fucking nonsense bullshit? Like, they're supposed to be like lie detectors, but they're like the worst lie detectors on the fucking planet. Like, you can just say random shit and the polygraph will fucking react. But okay, whatever.
Joe's a great guy. He's a great American. He has done a fantastic job for us at the Defense Department, securing the southwest border, getting a beachhead here at the Pentagon. He's staying with us, going to be in a slightly different role, but he's not going anywhere, certainly not fired. You make changes over time.
They're not held up in court because they're inaccurate. Yeah, I figured.
So, as you know, one of the people that left, he says he was not fired, he let go. Other people said he was fired. John Hewlett, a former Pentagon spokesperson.
Oh, yeah, and also this nonsense about the fucking southern border. What, because they deployed, like, a fucking Marine regiment to the southern border? Why? Like, it's just a waste of... Boy Meets Minnie and Zane, I bet you guys are really happy that a fucking random dumbfuck Marine regiment, it was deployed to the southern border to, I don't know, mostly, like, sit around in their Ospreys, just, like, kind of chilling, being like, well, I guess we're, like, in Arizona or, like, by the Rio Grande in Texas or some shit. That's cool, I guess. I mean, like, literally, Boy Meets Minnie, they said that they wanted to, like, go after the cartels in Mexico because they thought, like Mexico was not doing a good enough job. They're like partially serious on that one, right? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, the only reason why the cartels gained some of the strength that they did is because, guess what? They got a bunch of American weapons smuggled into fucking Mexico as a result. It's silly.
And decide to put this in Politico and say, here's a quote: "It's been a month of total chaos at the Pentagon, from leaks of sensitive operational plans to mass firings. The dysfunctional, now a major distraction for the president, deserves better from his senior leadership. President Donald Trump has a strong record on holding his top officials to account. given that it's hard
Yeah,
to see
sure.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth remaining in his role for much longer. You know him. I know he was let go. He had a great idea to get rid of Jackie Robinson, being sarcastic, from the Pentagon. Your thoughts about that statement?
Are they talking about Jackie Robinson, like the fucking baseball player Jackie Robinson? Because they did that, like, what the fuck does that even mean, right? Like, are we talking baseball player? Because they did, like, what? This was a while ago, and they did, like, all that removal of all the DEI shit within, like, the history, like, shit on, like, the Tuskegee Airmen and, like, other, like, Vietnam War veterans. It was sort of, like, it was just really, really dumb. Like, super fucking stupid. Like, anti-woke fucking complete nonsense. Because, like, I mean, these people are all, like, schizophrenic freaks or whatever. It's stupid.
Anybody that knows John knows why we let him go. We did a lot of favors for John. He did some good work up front. Then he was moved along and asked to move along. Now he's misrepresented a lot of things in the press. It's unfortunate. We did right by him.
Sure, man.
We tried to help. He's spinning it otherwise. It's too bad. It's politics, I guess.
Mr. Secretary, do you think you take this job, you come in with war experience and all your great background, do you think there's a lot of people who don't want you there, and there's some type of deep state forces that want to make sure you don't stay there?
They've come after me from day one, just like they've come after President Trump. I mean, I've gotten a fraction of what President Trump got in that first term. What he's endured.
Bro, are you for real? Like, I mean, Trump is actively attacking the basis of the Constitution and is actively just, like, not even just flagrantly just disregarding the law and destroying civil liberties and rights with this fucking nonsense. Yeah, I mean, this is why he's here. He's a glazer. That's the point. That's why he's here. He wants to slob on that knob.
Is superhuman. It's not hard for me to do this job. I know exactly why I'm here. To bring war fighting and the war fighting ethos back to the Pentagon. To rip out the insidious ideologies and not compromise and not back down. To bring in new press voices into the Pentagon, which we've done.
Guys, we need to bring in Tim Pool into the press corps of the Pentagon. Yeah, also, yeah, what happened? Yeah, yeah, I thought also Trump was anti-war, but we were, like, bringing out, you know, all the war fighters. Yeah, what's going on there? It's nonsense again. Typical fucking dipshit fascists have to speak out of both sides of your mouth. Like, just lie and lie. Just whatever.
Reestablish standards and accountability. To not tolerate leakers. To 100% operational control of our border. To get rid of trans lunacy in the military. We haven't backed down.
Trans lunacy in the military.
A lot of people come to Washington.
Like what trans lunacy?
And it's you punch their ticket and get along to go along. And, start...
This is really funny coming from the guy who's literally going to get, like, a fucking 7-figure contract on the board of some dipshit, like military contractor after he's done with this. That's really funny coming from you, buddy.
Meet the press and go into the Council on Foreign Relations and spending time with all the new cocktail sipping crowd. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because President Trump asked me to bring warfighting back to the Pentagon every single day.
Right.
That is our focus. And if people don't like it, they can come after me. No worries. I'm standing right here. The warfighters are behind us. Our enemies know they're on notice. Our allies know we're behind them. And that, in this dangerous world, for the American people, is what it's all about.
I've been on 2 bases over the last 2 months. They're overwhelmingly, anecdotally support for you. And they talked about recruiting going up. So I asked for official numbers. They are through the roof. Take a look at these numbers with the Army, Air Force, and Marines. You are up 108% in November, 119%.
Oh, they got they're
108% after the election.
Oh shit! All the poor people that we're creating because of our dog shit fucking policies. Oh, they're being forced to go into the military. Let's go, boys. Let's go.
105% with the Navy.
Also, I find it really funny that, like, they're putting in also the numbers from November 2024. Who was in power during November 2024, guys? Who was there? Who was there? I know. Does everyone else in the audience know? Oh, it was the Biden administration. Huh. Oh, that's crazy. But I guess they're just gonna more of, like, think about, like, just the sheer raw numbers. But, The poor draft yet again. Sleepy Joe, Sleepy Joe. I can't believe the recruiting numbers are so down. You know, they've done like... Because here's the thing. They've been constantly obtaining the fucking goals, right? Like, the percentage of the goals are not that much. It's just that, why did the military decide to put up their fucking numbers? Probably because they probably know it's like, we can easily exploit a bunch more people to fucking join the military because Trump's the one in power. So, that's why.
Marines up 112% and 100%.
Yeah, because notice how he's not talking about the fucking numbers. He's just talking about the percentages.
And they are through the roof. The U.S. Air Force, 100% of its goal. Same thing in February. And Space Force is also booming over 100%. I think the warfighters are happy to have a warfighter up top.
That's true.
Secretary, with all this
That's
controversy, everything swirling around, have you ever doubted your decision to take this job?
Dude, the Space Force is so
I
stupid.
didn't hesitate when the president asked me, and I haven't hesitated for a moment, because those numbers are a reflection of what is here. We call it the Trump bump internally. The reality is, when war fighting and lethality is brought back, and it's serious.
Dude, I'm doing my culture war points.
Serious about getting after soldiering
Whoa.
and war fighting. American people want to come back in. They want to sign up. These recruiting numbers don't surprise me. They don't surprise me one bit.
Again, like, I have to ask, who is the U.S. currently at war with? Like, who are they fighting? Like, the ghosts of, like, Christmas past or some shit? Like, who's being fought? The fucking, like, the specter of Houthism, like, that's haunting America or something? Like, what's going on here? Who is America fighting? Why would this, like, LARPy faux patriotism bullshit? Yeah, it's nonsense. It's stupid.
They're a reflection of a yearning from the American public, of young people, to be proud of their country, to be proud of their military, to make sure when they serve, they're given everything they need. That's why I've fought for the budget that the Defense Department requires.
That's true,
and the
Zane.
president has said we'll have our first $1 trillion budget, because my kids, my 14-year-old, if he joins, he's going to have a great military. He's going to have peace through strength because of the historic...
Yeah, man, the military totally needs a $1 trillion fucking contract because, like, I don't know, Raytheon and Boeing need to make, like, some more, like, doodads or some shit. Yeah, that's a good point, Boy Meets Mini. He is a fucking dad. Listen, if this fucking dumbass can be a dad, so can you, random internet purveyor.
...investments of this president. So, no,
that's true, Zane.
And I won't...
Yeah, it's a good thing that Medicaid was cut by about $880 billion for the $1 trillion fucking goddamn, like, defense budget.
Blink. Because this job is too big and too important for the American people, and I'm grateful for every opportunity the president has given me.
And I was grateful to see the Hegseth Army on the Easter egg roll yesterday in the backdrop. They are ready to go. Mr. Secretary, thanks so much for your time today, and best of luck. The world is not an easy place to control, and you're trying to do it. Appreciate it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian.
I have 3 IQ morons. Crazy. Holy shit. Yeah, he's talking about his kids there or whatever. Yeah, whatever. Like, dumbass Crusader LARPer is probably like a dumb fuck natalist or whatever. Who cares? Yeah, that's true. There needs to be attack robots for our war on Mexico and China. I agree. When is the American Legio Titanica going to be established? When are we going to get, like, the Invocatus or the Invictus from, like, Space Marine 1 going to become, like, the random Warlord Titans or some shit? Yeah. Whatever. I mean, you know, Leak Hegseth not doing a great job at, well, covering his ass. Let's be honest here. Like... there's, like, speculation for us to, like, who's gonna be the first guy that, like, Trump's gonna fire. Like, who the fuck knows what's gonna happen? Because, I mean, there's gonna be firings eventually. We all know with, like, how tumultuous the first Trump administration was. But, I mean, like, the thing is, with Project 2025, with all the dipshits that have been proposed to be put in, well, it's supposed to be, like, way more of a smoother transition in order to be able to do, well, all the just wretched shit that the conservatives want to do. But, you know, we'll see what dumbass shit happens. Maybe Pete Hegseth will be one of the first to go. That would be really funny if that were the case, but we'll see. We'll see.